equity.
But public facilities grants, they have to remain for public service in perpetuity. And that can't be sold to a for-profit entity.
Yes, thank you. I'm Jack Drury. I'm here because Tito Jackson at church yesterday told me about this meeting. I used to be Tito's Sunday school teacher. I was Tito's Sunday school teacher at Union United Methodist. And as some of you know, we're a church that goes back to 1796 as a organization that started on the Beacon Hill, the African Meeting House Church. We came to that corner in 1949. We've been there 79 years. They've now built the Tubman Park and the statue there. So that, in essence, is now the Harriet Tubman corridor between that statue and the building. And I was aware of what Val was talking about, because that was one of my questions, because you know how one of those programs talks about the way to make society better is to kill all the lawyers. So I know there's 3 or 4 lawyers here tonight, and what Tito told me was that he thought that there was a restrictive covenant that ran with the deed of the Tubman House that would prevent it from being conveyed to a private entity.
People who know me and my family, I grew up in the most diverse family in the South End, the Sheets. We had every race and ethnicity in my family. And so for me, I know that a coalition had to be re-energized because you had a number of nonprofits of color, churches who were left out of this discussion, this decision-making process. And when people talked about the rabbinical court case, Tennis Development Corporation, that's their landmark case that not only benefited people in Boston, but throughout this country. And TDC was born at United South End Settlements. This was their first office, and we were not included in this strategic planning process. And so for me, I just want to know, why is it, because again, the old South End, we took care of each other. We included each other. Why were so many people of color left out? Nonprofits, churches, St. Stephen's, for crying out loud, was left out. There's many people who were left out of that process, so how can you tell me that you made a strategic decision when you left out half of the community? I just want to know. And one of the things about TDC, we have tried to work with both presidents because we are from TDC. We saw deterioration and we were ignored. What a lot of people don't know is when you walk into the Harriet Tubman House, that beautiful reception area, TDC built that out of the kindness of their heart. And yet, we continue to be left out of this process. That's my question.
Because I think you have to make a distinction between the people who are genuinely and absolutely committed in the white community on the question of racial equality. And I must confess that I think they're in a very small minority. I think the vast majority of white Americans will go but so far. It's a kind of installment plan for equality. And they are always looking for an excuse to go but so far.
The three departments that you mentioned?
Senior services.
Please.
Senior services.
Oh,
Not all that.
Sorry,
Not all that.
one last thing. Senior services was not transitioned to us, as a matter of fact. Senior services was not transitioned to us. As a matter of fact, there was a lot done to make sure that we did not get it. It was the seniors who approached me and asked if my boss could TDC take over the programs. I went to my boss and he said, of course, these are seniors. We could never leave seniors out in the cold. So it was not transitioned to TDC.
The conditions that we've lived with and the syndrome of deprivation surrounding conditions, whether it's in housing, in the economic area, or in schools, or in the vicious credit practices that we face in
And I think a community process is really important so that we can learn from one another. So in the process, we no longer offer adult basic education, ESOL classes, and we had senior services programs that were then transitioned to Tenants Development Corporation.
taking over those three things? Are you taking over the three departments that you mentioned?
Senior services.
Please.
Senior services.
Not
all that.
Sorry,
Not all that.
one last thing. Senior services was not transitioned to us, as a matter of fact. Senior services was not transitioned to us. As a matter of fact, there was a lot done to make sure that we did not get it. As a matter of fact, there was a lot done to make sure that we did not get it. As a matter of fact, there was a lot done to make sure that we did not get it.
Out here celebrating Tubman Day, Harriet Tubman Day, and you know, it doesn't matter that we have weather that doesn't agree. We're still gonna celebrate Harriet Tubman Day today.
Yes.
Peace.
Peace.
To be one of those great women that deserves to be remembered and honored always.
Okay. And how do you feel that's going to be transmitted, that sensibility is going to be transmitted to our children? How do we make that happen?
Well, I do believe that it's all of our jobs. It's all of our jobs. I think if we all play a role, if we all do whatever it is that we deem our part to be, then we could be that, that whisper. We can be that visual to say, even as we're here today, this is a historical moment. It may not seem like it is, but history is made one day at a time. And this is a historical moment for us to leave as a legacy to say, we're out here remembering Harriet Tubman. And I think little acts like that on everyone's behalf and greater acts, and so that might be the small contribution that I can make in terms of giving our young people an opportunity to see that there are people who still remember. There are some of us who are still carrying on that legacy and seeing the benefit in it. And by doing and being, that's how we can actually influence the next generation. And it might not be the same for each one, and we have to remember that. And it's not about it being the same for each one, because we're all individuals. It's about each one doing what the spirit and the ancestors in the ancestral realm have blessed us with individually. And collectively, that's what is a mighty blow.
My people go, let them go, let them go, let them go. When Israel was in Egypt's land, she went and told them, Pharaoh, to let my people go. Let them go, let them go. Tell Europe to let my people go. Let them go.
The youth are speaking, and I will carry the message of the youth they told me an empire is not given. Freedom is not given, it is taken. An empire is not given. An empire is not given. It's taken. It's not earned, it's taken. What's yours is yours. Marcus Mosiah Garvey said, "Up ye mighty race. We are one nation, one blood, under one struggle. No matter how we may vary in different locations and different times, we still remain one nation, one blood, under one struggle."
It's raining, snowing, and it's cold in Boston. Well, you know, as Empress just said, freedom is not earned, it's taken. I remember the first time I felt truly free. I turned to my daughter on an airplane leaving California to come to Boston to live, and I felt free. Freedom is something you feel. It was the first time I felt free because I've never really been bound. But living certain life, you leave it and you feel free. So yes, I know what freedom feels like. Yes, indeed. Now, Bob Marley says, we will find out who are the true revolutionaries. I want to say, I'm grateful to say, I am a revolutionary. All the revolutionaries come out in this weather for the cause. For the cause. To claim their freedom. I'm claiming mine today. I'm claiming my divinity. You get what I'm saying? Yes. And I'm standing here without an umbrella. You know why? Harriet said, I read that Harriet had a gun. I never read anywhere she had an umbrella. And I'm sure she went through all kinds of weather. But she never, there's nowhere in the historical text that said Harriet Tubman had an umbrella. Right, Mama?
Right.
You had a Bible.
You had a gun.
You had a gun. She also said, I freed thousands. I could have freed thousands more if only they knew they were slaves. I know Harriet Tubman isn't a dunce woman. She knew that they knew that they were slaves. But were they ready to claim it? Were they ready to understand it? Were they ready to step out of slavery? Were they ready to take charge of their freedom? Not everybody is willing. Some people are ready to kneel down and beg Bakra Masa, I'll come with you. No. It's time to stand up and respect and social respect and honor to those who have fought heavily. I can't imagine the struggle. I was born free. Born free. As free as the wind blows. As free as the grass grows, born free to follow the stars. But my ancestors were not born free. They fought so that I could be here today to pay homage to women like Harriet Tubman. I wish I could see more women. It's not only Harriet Tubman Day. May 10th, March 10th, excuse my language. March 10th is Harriet Tubman Day. For those who don't know. Okay? Just ribbit it on the head. March 10th is Harriet Tubman's Day. Not only is March 10th Harriet Tubman's Day, March is International Women's Month. When the woman them there. I have a problem. I see too much colors. I see too much color, pretty color, ice green and gold and empress and sister and this and that. Yes, rightfully so. Salute. Wear your colors all you want, but when are you gonna represent? When are you gonna truly represent? Yes, I see a lot of colors from Facebook. Oh, empress, clean eye, Rastafari, empress. Isis, king, queen. So they better start really represent queen and kingship. It's not a word. It's an action. It's a deed. Yes. It's a look, but more than a look, because a pair look me see. I'm tired of the look. I'm tired of the talk. I want to see representation. You know what I'm saying? And I know I'm not the only one. Because you know what? Harriet Tubman is not the only one who fought for freedom. So I'm not the only one who is tired of the pretty. I'm tired of the pretty. I want to see representation. Big up the Black Madani.
Yes, sir.
Shanda. Big up the Black Madani every time. This is not something given to you. It was bestowed upon you. Blessings. You understand what I'm saying? Not everyone can carry these burdens, so Harriet Tubman chose correctly. I can tell you that. She chose the perfect human being to help carry her legacy. And for those of us who will follow in the footsteps, we're here. Big up Sister Vicky, Empress, Queen, Mother of all. Yes, we give thanks for your support, your love, your every offering. Because without mothers like you, everybody talk about their mothers. Mothers of the universe, take charge.
There you go.
Mothers of the universe, take charge. It's about time. Yes, because if more mothers were taking charge, the world wouldn't be as crippling as it is.
Did your family members experience the enslavement here in America?
I'm sure some did. Maybe not all of them did, but I'm quite sure some did. And the ones that did, I feel like, you know, they probably passed down some gifts to me. For instance, these big hands, you know. You see how big my hands are? I'm quite sure these hands were working hands, you know. I'm not. The multi, what do you call it?
Purpose?
Well, they have multi-purposes, that's right. And I feel like
multi-talented.
I feel like it was more than sports, you know what I mean?
Also,
I feel certain things that
qualified to build.
Right, exactly. I feel like there's a lot of things that, you know, we can actually do to help each other with extra hands, you know. So this is what Harriet was about, you know. Providing a hand to the people who didn't realize that they had freedom too.
Our historian, yes, we have a historian, local Roxbury historian, Boston, and she is sharing on the normality of celebrating your ancestors, and that is not isolating anyone else.
Yeah, you know, I think it is imperative that we cherish our ancestry because that is our identity. That is our identity. And, you know, when you lose your identity, you lose yourself. And consequently, if we forget where we came from, we don't know where we're going. And one of the things that I think is very important about Harriet, we always recognize the fact that she said 1,200 people, and I believe her words. And, but after we got that on paper freedom, we have to remember 4 million people were released from the prison camps that we call plantations. And it's sort of interesting, you know, our ancestors were brilliant people. And, you know, she wasn't the only person who was a conductor on that railroad. There were hundreds, if not thousands, of poor black people in slave cabins who offered haven to people who were running away. you had a whole concept where they considered the enslavement system King Buzzard and called the people who held them in slavery man stealers or soul catchers. You know, so our people were powerful, and it's very important for us to read what they wrote. Listen to their words, not the interpretation of the beast system scholars, but what they wrote. So yes, it's so imperative because on her shoulders we stand, on those, on all of our ancestors and ancestors' shoulders we stand. And we have to pay homage to that and be sturdy enough so that our children can stand on our shoulders. We have to continue her mission. Most important, her mission for economic development. Because she had a 35-acre industrial center where she was making manufacturing building materials.
Can you say that again, please?
She had a 35-acre industrial complex where they're digging right now. The archaeologists are finding out she was doing a lot of expansive and progressive things, employing her own. Because we got to remember, out of that 4 million, many of them were homeless when they were kicked off those plantations. And what was powerful about her and so many others, they made sure they provided the home. They didn't expect the beast system to help them. They understood what they were dealing with. Like I said, they used to call the system King Buzzard, you know? So they weren't looking for any assistance from that direction. Harriet hung out here in this area. I used to play right up here, up the street here, in a house that used to host Harriet. The elder who owned the house told me Harriet would spend her time at her house whenever she came to raise money for her industrial center. Harriet had a book written so that she could finance her industrial center. You know, she was a progressive-minded woman, and we all carry that in our DNA. You know? So yes, it's very, very important for us to cherish our history, just like everyone else does. We should not make any apology for it. We should be black on purpose, you know, not just because, you know what I mean? And, you know, that whole integration scenario mentality is extremely damaging because you lose your identity when you integrate. You know, we went from being a collective to being a group of individuals. And we integrated with a system that is hostile to us. So now our youth call each other by the N-word, which was an insult throughout our history, you know? So, you know, we need to rethink our focus, you know? And get back on track. You know? Ganami. Fear none but God. And keep moving.
And by doing and being, that's how we can actually influence the next generation. And it might not be the same for each one, and we have to remember that. And it's not about it being the same for each one, because we're all individuals. It's about each one doing what the spirit and the ancestors in the ancestral realm have blessed us with individually. And collectively, that's what is a mighty blow.
The people they must suffer every day now. Oh, what a pressure that they get on. It's kinda rough, kinda tough, but we have to survive in all this struggle. There's a lady Rastafari. ends meet every day, you see me? Cause life rough now they get to me, I tell you, say what? It's a struggle, but we have to make it one day. Rebel music. Life is a struggle, but we have to make it up one day. Life is a struggle, but we have to make it. Say we have to make it. Hear what we say. Life is a struggle, but we have to make it up one day. Life is a struggle, but we have to make it. Say we have to make it. Hear what we say. Cause I'll never let you hold me down. Never take me for no clown. No matter what, I'm gonna turn this around. Won't treat me like a fool. I must obey your rule. But you will never conquer my heart and soul. More than try to hold me down, the more me getting stronger. More than try to kill me, yeah, the more me living longer. Me have to hustle, but we make life much better. Say, oh, what a pressure. Life is a struggle, but we have to make it up one day. Life is a struggle, but we have to make it. Say we have to make it. Hear what me say. Life is a struggle, but we have to make it up one day. Life is a struggle, but we have to make it. Say we have to make it. Rough life, yeah. Say rough in the ghetto, it rough in my yard. Rough in the ghetto, say it rough in abroad. Searching for the ends, but cannot find no reward. What a pressure in the ghetto, I tell you. And every time we try to move, they want to hold me back. And every time we try to rise, they want to hold me back. And every time we rise, they want to see we fall. Yes, we're fighting for justice for all. It's a struggle, but we have to make it up one day. Life is a struggle, but we have to make it. Say we have to make it. Hear what we say. Life is a struggle, but we have to make it up one day. Life is a struggle, but we have to make it. Say we have to make it. Rebel music. Hear what we say. But we not give it up. Say we can't, just we cannot give it up. Babylon want to work we hard, then they want to drop back yard. Want to treat me like a fraud. Me tell you no reward, but we have to know the sign. We can't act like we blind. We have to step on time, hustling up on the grind. Cause every ghetto child deserve to wear a smile when things all get so vile. Life is a struggle, but we have to make it up one day. Life is a struggle, but we have to make it. Say we have to make it. Hear what me say. Life is a struggle, but we have to make it up one day. Hear what me say. Struggle, but we have to make it. We have to make it.
Years. Yes, I think it probably was fascinating to most people that after all she had done and been through, that excited about love again, having been through what she went through with her first husband. And another twist to that, I think it's wonderful that a man and a woman can be together regardless of age, because sometimes really it's the person and not any other thing other than that person. So the fact that she could find love and he would treat her with such respect and honor, that I think that every woman wants that. You know, every woman wants and deserves that, because that's truly sharing that kind of love. There's different kinds of it, but you know, in terms of that connection that you can only have that type of intimacy with another human being, I'm glad that she was able to find that again after all she had been through. But another dynamic to that is the fact that he was also a veteran and was ill, and she spent a lot of time also giving care and service to him because he was not able to take care of her. So she was again in another service role.
Ashe.
To really describe how powerful she was and still is in each and every one of us. And today is very special for me because she represents what my grandmother represents, who is not doing so well right now. And she literally is the backbone, the strength of 8 children and more than 20 grandchildren. And so right now she's down in Florida.
Prayers for Mama.
And she really, when I think of Harriet Tubman, I think of her, and I hope that we continue to strengthen each other and lead each other through the struggles, through the hard times, and really move forward instead of backwards, because without each other and without followers and strength and leaders and working together, we're nothing. So I'm very, very thankful for Harriet Tubman. And
first of all, I'm thankful for our ancestor, Miss Harriet Tubman. I'm thankful for all that she's done for us. So it's the least we can do is be out here. And not only that, I'm here to honor one of our ancestors, but also to honor all our ancestors that paved the way for us. And it's been said that she freed lots of people that were slaves, helped free them. But she could have freed more if they knew they were slaves. So, and that even holds true till today. There's a lot of us that are slaves and house Negroes, and we don't even realize it. So it's time to, I'm here in representation that it is time for our people to get our minds right and release the shackles that still hold us and bind us towards freedom. So thank you, Mama Harriet Tubman, and thank you all ancestors, and I appreciate you, and I give homage and thanks and honor you. Dua Necha Ashe.
Ashe.